So the countdown continues. We're another day closer, and I was going through the rest of the stations, or one more station today, talking ski. So talked about the row erg, now the ski erg. Now again, these two are very, very similar, and as I said before, biomechanics comes into it. Find what works best for your body and what kind of fits you. But again, there's some great channels out there. I shall do my best to try and link to a couple of those that I've learned a lot of, so that you can kind of hopefully pick up some tips and techniques. And I think I've mentioned this before around one of the sims. What I've been developing is not quite the right word, but what I've been practicing to give myself the best possible chance for the race is, again, getting more efficient so that I can hit the row and get a consistent time. And what I've been doing to do that is my natural technique, very similar to the ski, because I'm a bit shorter than most of the people I train with. I tend to go very, very fast, and I'm talking my default will be kind of 40 to 50 strokes per minute. And that feels quite natural, but obviously that's heavy on the cardio, light on the pull, but that kind of feels kind of natural and is pretty poor technique. When I get tired, the chain tends to rattle back as I'm kind of going forward, and people can see that it's not the best technique, but it's kind of my default. So if I want to go hard on the cardio, I can do that. Now again, I have improved my technique where there's less chain rattling, kind of smoother, because typically fast is smooth and smooth is fast. So that's been an improvement. But what's really made the difference is understanding the kind of the stroke and all the components of that, because obviously you've got your knees and your legs as one component, you've got the pull with the arms, and then the bit that I've added in, the bit that I really neglected, is the pivot. Again, similar to the ski erg, it's getting that pivot in there. And there was a great video I saw that talked about on the ski going slower to go faster, and that kind of it still kind of slightly blows my mind. But again, it's very similar to the runs. Doing the longer slow runs helps you to be able to run faster, and it's exactly the same on the ski. So the bit of advice that this particular channel kind of gave was basically just keeping an eye and practicing basically rowing slowly. So doing it on the, aiming for 24, 25 strokes per minute, so that basically I'm almost getting like a 2 to 3 second rest at the back before I go again. Each pull is a lot harder. So I'm getting a lot more it's a lot more about the pull, but then it's by slowing down the mechanics, I'm able to get a much better stroke. So it's about kind of pulling, leaning forward so that I'm basically, the handle is going all the way back to the reel, and then pulling back and then actually pivoting. So, I start the motion lent forward, and I finish the motion lent all the way back with the handle kind of up to my chest, and I hold it there, and then I go again, and pulling those hard strokes. And basically when I go my kind of all out frantic hobbit on a rowing machine, is what it looks like in my head anyway, I can maintain for 500 meters, just about for 1,000, a little bit more. I can maintain, do a 1 minute 55 to 2 minute 500 meters. It slows down for the second 500 and every 500 after that. When I do this, and that's basically limited by kind of getting out of breath, and it's just kind of hard, fast work. And again, as I said, I'm trying to maintain that 4 minutes for the 1,000 meters. That's my target. That's my target for the Hyrox. So getting 3:30 has never really been an aim. It's just getting more and more efficient at that. When I do the slow stroke, and I'm still getting better. I'm probably at about 70%, 75%. I need a few more weeks or months just to really kind of break the bad habits of how I was doing it, and get this really kind of nailed. But when I use that technique and really kind of slow it down, and I can see from both the watts on the ski erg and the meters per 30 minute, whichever metric I use, and obviously the speed over 500 meters, I can maintain. I mean, I can peak at around 140, 139. I'm in that stroke. I cannot get that fast when I'm doing the fast stroke. And I can easily hold 150 or sub 150 using that stroke. So I've got those two strokes kind of in the bag, as it were. So on the day, if I'm, you know, again, because of where it comes, it's you know, kind of the second half of the race, I can very much settle into it and do the slow stroke if I just want to catch my breath more, knowing that I can hit that. Or if I'm kind of feeling good and the heart rate's low, and depending if I've had the rest first or the rest second, I can really fly into that and kind of go for it. So again, if I come straight off the run and go onto it, I will probably go the slower technique, because it allows me, although it's harder, it allows my heart rate to kind of slow. If I'm coming in and my partner's going to go first, because you know he wants a rest before the next run, then it may well be that I've had that rest and I still might do that stroke, but I've got the opportunity then to go fast on it, because it will raise my heart rate, but it's low because I've had the rest beforehand. And that's one of the things that on all the simulations and the big training days that we do, I'm not too worried about what my heart rate says during the race. What I'm interested in is looking at those peaks and troughs afterwards. And what I'm consistently seeing, certainly in the first half of the race, and you know, for all of it, but it gets a little bit, is my heart rate going right back down into zone 0 or zone 1, you know, in between the stations at those rest bits. And that's what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm looking to constantly improve, because if I can get my heart rate down and recover, then I can give more into the next station. So yeah, row is one of those ones. Most of well, pretty much every single one of my PT sessions that I did for a year and a half, rowing was part of that, and I would do 1500, 2000 meter row at the beginning of those. It's still part of the sessions at the moment, as you've seen, with lots of kind of sprints interspersed with other things. So it's giving me that opportunity to just kind of refine the technique, break those bad frantic hobbit on a rowing machine habits, and get the full kind of stroke length, and again make the most of the mechanics that work for me, but also the style that works for me, so that I can maximize the output on the day at Hyrox. I can, between myself and my partner, we can hit that time that we want, and make sure, and this is the key thing, I want to hit that 4 minutes, you know, kind of 2 minutes each, and I want to be able to then go into the next run not gasping for breath. And that's the thing, I could go right, and adrenaline might take over, who knows. I go right, I'm really gonna hammer this as hard as I possibly can, give it absolutely everything, and I probably could get a 140 or a high 130s, but that extra 10 seconds is going to compromise the next run, and so I'm probably going to end up being slower than 10 seconds. You know, so it's about focusing on the runs, which is why I did, you know, I treated that as one station, because it's amazing when I was doing some sprints recently, is just being aware that I think potentially in 2025, I think I might have a sub 4 minute runs in me. And based on the last simulation, which was 4:42 average, if I could save 42 seconds off each of the run and maintain that, you know, that's quite a lot of time, you know, to save in one go. And if I'm doing that with a fitness level that it's not compromising the stations, that's going to get me, you know, closer to that 104, 103, and, you know, who knows, maybe one day that sub 1 hour mark. But yeah, that's where the best savings are. But so for me, it's about efficiency on all the other stations. How can I get the distance done, get the weight done, get the time done in the most efficient way, so I get the rest, and I basically use that as kind of, I can explode into it, get the time that I need, but then keep the, you know, fresh for the next station, back for the runs again. So I hope that's helped on the row. So again, find what stroke works for you, but what I would recommend is try going slower. When I did the first few sets of this, I was particularly watching that distance per 30 minutes and then looking at the wattage. And the wattage is the interesting one. My kind of, my previous kind of fast, just you know, crazy technique or lack of, I would generate around 140, 150 watts. When I use that fast technique, but some of the better movements that I've got, I typically come in at around kind of 220 watts, something like that. But when I use the slow technique and I'm doing the harder pulls and I'm making sure I get the full distance and I take that little break, I can get, I think I peaked at 360 watts. So again, I'm not the most scientific and all the rest of it, but a bigger number is better. In this instance, you know, so the fact that I can generate 360 watts as opposed to basically 160 watts, and the fact that my pace is quicker, then that's what it's about. And the more efficient I get at that movement, the muscle memory of doing that more often, then it means I can maintain that faster speed. Yes, it means I can go faster, but it's about being able to get that speed that I'm aiming for, or that time that I'm aiming for, with the least amount of effort. And I'm reminded of, and I can't remember who said it, so apologies, and it's to do with Formula One. But remember someone always said the aim for every driver is to win Formula One in the slowest possible time. Because obviously if you can win it in the slowest time, saves your tyres and everything else, but it means you've still got to be faster than everyone else, but you do it as slow as possible. And I've taken that kind of to heart when it comes to Hyrox. I want to get the quickest possible time, but I want to basically maximize the maintaining of energy, of heart rate and effort across all of the stations, so that I'm finishing it not fresh. There's no point finishing it and going, oh, I could have done that faster. But it means that the bit where I can make up more time, or at least lose less time on the runs, if I can make all the stations more efficient, then I can basically hit those runs better. And that's where the main time saving comes, and the running between stations, but that's a whole another video. So I hope that's been useful. I will try and put some links down below. If any of you got any questions, please stick it in the comments, and I will try and find some of those videos and send them to people that are far more experienced than me. I'm just coming at this from a kind of like, how can I make this boat go faster? So hope that's been useful. And yeah, another day down and another day closer to Hyrox.